This is fresh tuna. And this is juicy steak. What's wrong with these products? They can seriously harm your health. I've gathered the most dangerous and non-obvious foods that we eat every day without even thinking about the consequences. And in the end, I'll show why it's better not to buy ready-made spices in stores, which almost everyone uses. In many households, you can find chocolate bowls, rings, sweet granola, and breakfast cereals. Despite advertising claims about their benefits, these ready-made breakfasts are one of the unhealthiest ways to start the day. Even if the box says something about fitness components, they usually contain a lot of sugar and lack valuable plant fiber, while being saturated with artificial flavors, refined carbohydrates, and colorants. This makes them resemble sugar bombs that can harm health. Moreover, dry breakfasts with nuts and dried fruits can pose a danger to people with pollen allergies or seasonal allergies. There is a risk of cross-allergy when the immune system reacts not only to pollen, but also to proteins with a similar composition, for example, those contained in cereals. Almost all doctors warn about the high content of added sugar in such products, which can contribute to the development of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and obesity. An increase in insulin levels in the blood after consuming sugary products can cause hunger and lead to overeating. If you want a healthy breakfast, it's better to cook porridge yourself for breakfast and dress it with honey or fruits. But don't buy store-bought ones in packages. Why? Instant porridge is not as healthy as it might seem at first glance. They quickly raise blood sugar levels, but do not provide a long-lasting feeling of fullness, which leads to hunger soon after. These cereals contain a lot of sugar and simple carbohydrates, which with regular consumption can lead to weight gain. In order for breakfast to be not only tasty but also healthy, I suggest preparing wheat porridge with the addition of flax and pumpkin. It's not only delicious, but also nutritious and will help start the day with energy and vigor. But let's go further. Have you heard the legendary phrase, "Drink milk, be healthy"? Milk has long been considered a source of calcium and healthy product. However, as we grow older, we increasingly hear about its possible harm, from aging of the skin to the risk of obesity. Questions about the role of milk in the diet and its impact on health remain relevant. Milk has a number of beneficial properties. It is rich in lactic acid, which fights microbes, lactose, which maintains a healthy intestinal microflora, and contains many minerals and vitamins. However, there are studies indicating that milk consumption does not always reduce the risk of fractures. For children, milk is recommended as a source of calcium for healthy growth. Lactose-free milk has become popular among those who limit sugar in their diet and have lactose intolerance. It is suitable for people with lactose deficiency, but does not solve the problem for those allergic to milk protein. Pasteurized milk is preferable to raw milk for safety reasons, as it minimizes the risk of bacterial infections despite debates about the loss of some nutrients during pasteurization. Milk is considered a source of protein and other important substances that contribute to strengthening the immune system and muscle tissue. It can reduce oxidative stress and have a beneficial effect on some brain diseases. According to experts, moderate milk consumption by adults is not harmful, but many should still choose lactose-free options and be more careful with this drink, especially people with excess weight and visceral fat. It is important to understand that milk is not an essential drink in our diet, despite being taught the opposite in childhood. Have you heard about the benefits of fish? But there's a catch. Fish can contain toxins, pesticides, and dangerous chemicals due to environmental pollution. But that's not all. Fish can be a source of parasites, especially freshwater fish. Consuming lightly salted fish increases the risk of parasite infection and can raise blood pressure due to high salt content. Improper processing and storage of fish lead to the accumulation of substances that cause allergic reactions, headaches, and symptoms of food poisoning. Predatory fish species also contain elements that negatively affect the nervous system, causing nervous disorders, coordination problems, and memory issues. Among the most dangerous fish species containing high levels of toxins are tuna, king and Atlantic mackerel, sprats, swordfish, and eel. Freshwater fish is also subject to contamination. It may contain salts of heavy metals and radionuclides. Yes, especially in areas affected by Chernobyl. Pesticides and industrial pollutants in fish negatively affect the liver, kidneys, and immune system of humans. Safe for consumption are cod, halibut, herring, mackerel, salmon, and wild Atlantic trout, as they are rich in omega-3 fatty acids and contain fewer toxic substances. Salmon and sardines, besides low toxin content, are a good source of omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, and vitamin D. Here we can also include flounder, cod, and mussels, which practically do not accumulate harmful substances and are resistant to parasites. The situation with meat is similar too. Excessive consumption of any meat can increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases. Lamb, especially fatty, as well as pork, contain a lot of saturated fats, which makes them particularly dangerous for people with heart problems or a genetic predisposition to them. It is recommended to limit saturated fat intake to 10% of total daily calories. In addition, some components of meat can increase artery stiffness and contribute to thrombus formation, which is very dangerous for elderly people. Red meat also contributes to an increased risk of developing colon cancer due to the presence of oxygen-containing pigment that gives the meat its red color. Experiments on mice have shown an increased frequency of tumor formation with consumption of red meat, which may indicate a similar risk for humans. During meat processing, hydrogen sulfide is formed by intestinal bacteria, which can damage the cells of the intestinal mucosa, causing mutations. Red meat is also associated with an increased risk of breast and prostate cancer. However, doctors do not recommend completely excluding it from the diet, especially for people with iron deficiency, such as many women. Beef and pork are better stewed or baked rather than fried. White meat, such as chicken and turkey, as well as fish, are recommended as the basis of the diet, with the consumption of any meat limited to 4 times a week. Sausage products, including homemade ones, are better left for special occasions. Why? I think many of you already suspected that cheap sausage couldn't be healthy. Even the World Health Organization has compared the health effects of consuming sausages and hot dogs to the risks associated with smoking cigarettes. Seriously, sausage ranks 3rd after alcohol and smoking. Experts point to a significantly increased risk of developing colon cancer from such products and advise limiting their consumption to 1.7 ounces per day. In addition, it is not recommended to fry sausage products, as this can lead to the formation of carcinogens. Chemical additives in sausage can trigger diseases such as hypertension, heart failure, and gastritis. Although in small doses these additives may be harmless, exceeding permissible norms makes the product dangerous. Frequent consumption of sausages can also lead to weight gain. This is because animals raised on intensive feeding are used for production, making their meat particularly fatty. This leads to an imbalance in the fat content of the product, increasing the proportion of harmful omega-6 fats. No, I'm not saying that all sausage is harmful, but in most cases, manufacturers try to save money on raw materials. And how could I forget about the most popular product? Mayonnaise is one of the most popular sauces that has found its application in cuisine all over the world. It is often added to salads and used in the preparation of various dishes. Store-bought mayonnaise can negatively affect the digestive system, causing various uncomfortable symptoms such as stomach pain, heartburn, and bloating. After all, it belongs to high-calorie products, but at the same time, it does not have sufficient nutritional value. Using just 1 spoonful of sauce adds 120 to 150 calories to the diet without providing any beneficial substances. Moreover, various harmful components are included in the composition of store-bought mayonnaise, including flavor enhancers, trans fats, preservatives, and stabilizers, as well as a large amount of salt. These additives can negatively affect the condition of the intestinal microbiota and overall well-being. Excessive consumption of salty products, including mayonnaise, contributes to the development of cardiovascular diseases and high blood pressure. In addition, dishes baked using mayonnaise may contain carcinogens, making their consumption even more risky for health. What to do? Instead of the store-bought version, you can prepare mayonnaise at home using egg yolks and quality vegetable oil. such as sauce, will be much healthier and may even be beneficial when consumed in moderation, as its high calorie content is preserved even in the homemade version. But let's move on to another product that you definitely wouldn't expect to find on the list of harmful ones. Unfortunately, processed cheeses cannot boast the beneficial properties of natural hard cheeses. They contain little calcium, protein, vitamins, and minerals. Often the soft texture and pleasant taste of processed cheeses are achieved by adding chemical components, including salts, which are necessary for their production. Besides salts, manufacturers may use various additives, making processed cheese less safe for consumption. These additives include flavorings, taste enhancers, preservatives, antioxidants, and starch. This product also contains a large amount of salt, making it undesirable for people with high blood pressure. Due to the high content of not very beneficial additives, sandwiches with processed cheese are not recommended for children's nutrition. But even regular cheese can be really harmful to your health. Certain types of it may contain bacteria that cause listeriosis, a serious disease that affects the central nervous system and can, in rare cases, lead to death. Cheese contains the amino acid tryptophan, known for its influence on brain activity, which can trigger migraines, sleep disturbances, and nightmares in some people. Additionally, excessive consumption of cheese can lead to weight gain due to its high calorie and fat content. Children under 2 years are not recommended to be given hard and fatty cheeses, as well as spicy and salty varieties, which should also be avoided by people with digestive system problems such as ulcers or gastritis. Such cheeses can also be harmful for hypertension. Among doctors, there is an opinion that excessive cheese consumption can contribute to the formation of kidney stones, especially if the cheese was stored improperly or there were irregularities in its manufacturing process. But sometimes problems arise with products you wouldn't expect at all. Modern infant formulas strive to be as close as possible to the composition of breast milk, but it is impossible to fully replicate its unique properties. Despite advertising promises, children fed with such formulas face a number of problems. Firstly, artificial formulas lack the protective antibodies present in breast milk, making children more vulnerable to infections. Secondly, many children experience dysbiosis and digestive disorders, such as constipation and diarrhea, which are difficult to treat. Although infant formulas contain many vitamins, only a small portion of them is absorbed by the newborn's body, which can lead to vitamin deficiencies. In addition, iron from formulas is absorbed in minimal amounts, increasing the risk of anemia in children. Improper selection of salt content in some formulas can cause seizures, especially in the presence of diarrhea. Early introduction of infant formulas is also associated with an increased risk of developing allergic diseases, including eczema and bronchial asthma. Bottle-fed children may have difficulty transitioning to breastfeeding and may subsequently refuse the breast. Failure to comply with sanitary standards when preparing formulas can lead to children being infected with infectious agents, as milk formulas provide a favorable environment for microorganisms. Don't think that I'm discouraging you from using them. You should understand all the risks yourself and take this step consciously. I want to warn you about chewing candies, toffees, and caramels, which may seem harmless sweets for children, but in reality, they are quite dangerous to health. Containing synthetic additives and lacking natural ingredients, these products not only harm digestion and contribute to the development of cavities due to sticky residues on the teeth, but can also lead to addiction. And cookies, pastries, and industrial cakes containing butter substitutes and excess sugar pose an even greater threat. They can contribute to the development of hypertension, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other diseases, becoming a time bomb for health. So don't think you can replace chocolate with gummy bears and other safe sweets. You may just harm yourself more. As promised, I left spices for last because almost everyone buys them. What's wrong with them? Ready-made spice blends for culinary dishes, such as chicken roasting mixes, spaghetti bolognese preparations, and Caesar salad dressings, are indeed convenient and aromatic. They save us from the need to buy many different spices for just one recipe. However, it is worth remembering that such packaged sets often contain a large amount of salt, added oils, artificial flavorings, colorings, and taste enhancers. All this can have a negative impact on health and also increase the risk of allergic reactions, not to mention carcinogens, which can lead to cancer. In general, even water can be harmful. It all depends on the quality and quantity. Therefore, you need to know the measure in everything and not indulge in something delicious if there are any risks. Thanks for watching.